Good afternoon. This is Melvin-John Herbilla from Story by Melvin. You are listening to Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM, where all Filipinos are Filipino enough.
Good afternoon, bonjour, mabuhay, everybody. You are listening to Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Welcome back to anyone who's been here before, and welcome to all of our new listeners. So my name is Desiree Ruiz. I'm joined with my co-host Veronica Bortiz and Franz Stoner, and welcoming Fenny Cristo, our sound engineer, who is graciously giving Laura a break. Also, shout out to Justin for all of the work that he does with Laura to make us sound amazing. So on today's show, we are interviewing Melvin-John Herbilla, who is a photographer. And so stay tuned to learn more about Melvin. So welcome, Melvin. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making time today, despite your busy weekend schedule. Please introduce yourself and tell us about what you do.
Thank you for having me, first off. My name is Melvin-John Herbilla. I'm born here. I'm 31 years old. And currently, I serve the community as a youth worker with the YMCA, doing intervention prevention work. And as well, I am a corporate and also a nightlife photographer. And also anything generally in between. Whether people believe in me or not, that's usually how I get my jobs. And it all started from there.
So tell us, Melvin, first of all, a Filipino photographer, as someone who I don't know much Filipino photographer. I remember when I was in high school, people were like, I want to start photography, and everyone started buying the DSLR, right? And I'm like, I don't have money to buy that, so I just borrow my friends. But it was always seen as a hobby. Like, I know at least 3 of my friends have the DSLR and all of this different types of cameras that I don't even know how to call it. I just know Polaroid. I mean, it's Fujifilm Instax. It's not even Polaroid. And in my head, I'm like, I see someone who's doing this as part of their career, and you're moving in, more and more gigs are happening, and you're a lot of people are taking your service on. So please tell us, how is what is the beginning of Story by Melvin?
Well, I actually started off with like a small version of my last name, Herb Photography, way back in the day when I first started in university. And I wasn't really crazy about the entire night lifestyle where everyone was always drinking all the time. So I was just I calculated the amount, and it was like $100, $150 for a camera. We spend that usually in about 3 nights. But I saw this more as an investment for long term for us. And it was more of a tool to actually just get closer with my friends and just buy pizza and hang out, or just go to a parking lot and just take pictures. So it was something free for all of us to do, being broke university students. In terms of relating back to the Filipino experience, it didn't really stem from that. It was mostly just an opportunity for me to get closer with the people of my life. That's literally what it was. As it evolved, it just turned into being more of stories, pictures. That's because I really love providing context and representing experiences as they were. That's one of the best things about it for me.
Yeah, can you give us an example for that one? I know I've been following you, and I've been seeing sometimes you do put on your reflections when you take some pictures and such. So what are the most memorable times that you immortalized, a part of this wedding, let's say, or a birthday, let's say, of these events as a photographer?
Well, one of my favorite styles of shooting is candids. More so, growing up though with my dad. He was big on Discovery Channel and all these kind of channels that are just observing life in general. So I really like that approach, and I want to just kind of capture that in that essence of it. And so that's pretty much a big part of where that kind of stems from. Can you repeat that question again? Because I want to understand that question a bit better.
No, my question is what are the most memorable times that that really satamaki when you take pictures of the events that you're part of?
Okay, yeah, definitely. Big ones for me are always weddings, moments of love and spirit. Those are just always incredible, and I think having an entire community come together just to celebrate 2 people is an incredible undertaking. And it's just proof that like all of these people were touched by these two individuals. Those are my favorite kinds of shoots right now in my life. Before, it used to be all about, but still always about connection at the end of the day.
You know, I often get called to do like these public speaking engagements or media or panels. And one of the first times I actually encountered you, Melvin, was because I was invited on a panel to speak about mental health with John Molson Women of Leadership.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm used to going to these events, but like, the camera folks, you know, the camera crew, the photographers are not usually Filipino. So it was actually like a really, really nice experience to kind of go there and just, yeah, see my kapwa doing their thing. So I just wanted to say that it was also impactful for me to be like, oh, cool. You know, it's not some white dude capturing this event, you know. So it definitely made me feel more comfortable because, you know, when you're on a panel speaking about mental health, it might get a little uncomfortable, right? So I guess I'd love to hear a little bit more about the community piece. You know, you said that you're a youth worker. I've definitely spent a lot of time working with the youth. I used to work in CEGEPs. You know, I'm a mental health counselor and community organizer, and I'm super, super passionate about our youth. So yeah, would love to hear more about your day-to-day and like how does that inspire your photography as well?
I definitely believe my Filipino upbringing, my Filipino heritage, and how that whole journey of my parents coming here and all that whole aspect of sacrifice has brought as much as I forgive my parents for their shortcomings and accept them for who they are. And I understand in the context of what how they came here and raising me, I do feel there was a lot of neglect when I was younger. And so a big part of me in my soul had to be refilled in a way. And I found giving back, I would look for a lot of different avenues in terms of like how I could better serve my soul, my own soul and my community. Because I think that's one of the biggest things I took away from, especially at the intersection of like being Filipino in Montreal, is that I think this is a very common thing between a lot of Filipinos, where family, community, and also just generally Filipino cuisine is at the forefront of values in terms of who you are. And as well, I think there's a special case in terms of being a Montrealer as well, is that you understand there's always going to be conflict, especially with the whole English and French like disagreements a lot of the times. And so you have a very, in my personal opinion, I think I have a more tempered worldview. And I understand that there's always going to be some sort of conflict within anyone's soul. And so I also wanted to like heal that child of me, especially after how I was raised. That wasn't easy. So I decided to become a youth worker at some point, volunteering with Y. And ever since about 10 years, I've been staying there and helping these kids throughout, I think, around 5 generations of kids. They're all 12 to 17. And I understand a lot of their experiences, whether they're Filipino or not. A lot of them are kids of color. They do come from similar upbringings. Yeah, they may not have adobo and rice, but whatever things they eat at home, I understand. We all understand that there's good flavor in food. So we
We
all eat some
all
version of it. Yeah.
eat some version of chicken and rice. So I love that. Like I'm assuming you work with a lot of immigrant youth, so it's like a different
Yeah.
connection.
Most of the kids I work with come from Cotonej and NDG. So that's pretty much the experience. Or kids with immigrant parents.
Thank you for the work that you do. This is Desiree for those listening. I just wanted to jump in here and I'm just seeing this beautiful red thread. I mean, you know, at the beginning, you said you went into photography, you know, broke student, you were doing it, you know, because it was a passion and you're doing it for fun. But you specifically said, or what resonated with me is that you wanted to connect with your friends. So there was this wanting for connection. And then now you just shared this, your upbringing and how there was more or less this lack of connection, right? Given the sacrifices, given, you know, your circumstances.
Yes.
And I just think it's so beautiful how it all, you know, look at where you are today. You know what I mean? That your soul, and you had mentioned your soul earlier, your soul was seeking some sort of connection, kapwa, if anything, right? And you know, giving credit to your broke, the student self, your broke student self that was just like, I'm going to do this for fun. Again, not do it to be safe, not do it because your parents want me to do it. I'm going to do it because this is something that feels cool, feels good. It feels good. Like over pizza. What did you say? Over pizza in a parking lot with my friends. This feels good. And look at you now. You're actually, you are still you took that parking lot fun activity and made something from it, so just shouting that out to you, or shouting out, like celebrating you for following this excitement and this need for connection, and being able to find it on your own and on your own terms as well. And I think that, for somebody like me, same thing. Like, we're all seeking for some sort of connection, and we all have similar upbringings, with our parents' situation and the sacrifices, and that they weren't necessarily all there given what they came here with. So thank you for that. And that was just something, as I was listening, the more and more you shared, I was like, that is so cool. And honestly, it reminded me of my father. My father always took pictures, and my entire upbringing, he always took pictures. And it was so annoying. I'm not going to lie. It was so annoying because he was always in your face. But my father would take pictures on his old camera, and he would print them out. And he would print them out, and he loved candids exactly like you. And he would print them out, and he would give them to everybody at church. And so he passed in 2009. Still to this day, people, when they see me, they're like, I still have those random candid pictures that your father took of me, because again, it created this connection with him to the community. And also commenting on the fact that you take pictures for storytelling. I think that's so beautiful. Like, you're able to help people feel. And again, it all comes down to connection. You're helping people connect to the wedding, to the event, to each other through the candid pictures that you take, the feelings that you take. So I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, as Des, as you said, like his art is like, like helping people connect. But what I want to know though is like, let's talk about you though. Like, how has your art inspired you to help yourself or find your authentic self throughout all this?
At this point in my life, I treat it more of like a personal diary. I collect all of these experiences that normally I would never be able to have without photography, my nightlife, corporate, weddings, everything. And as I go through this, the more I realize that business is very personal. These people are my friends, like at the end of the day. Although it can seem very transactional at first, people are looking for someone to trust and connect with. And that's, for the most part, that's been the defining factor of how successful my business has been, and how well we connect, and how well I can make them feel safe.
You sound like our in-house photographer, AC, who also has the same like vision of photographing candid pictures, especially very monumental in a sense of trying to journal the growth of Sant Kapwa. So I'm just like happy to see that this is the same sentiment, that like the spirits and the soul is feeding you in terms of just record tracking, and also be part of the growth of people's lives. We are reaching the end of our broadcasting, and we always ask our guests these two questions. The first one is, in what ways you were told you weren't Filipino enough, and what does Kapwa mean to you? It's a heavy question.
It is a very heavy question. It's not anyone per se said I wasn't Filipino enough, but I did feel it a lot. Especially growing up, especially when I went to church. There was a lot of kids who were fresh from the Philippines, and they were my age. They looked exactly like me, but no matter how much I would want to connect with them, wanted to be their friend, there was just always that language and cultural divide that we could never really cross unless we're both our mouths are shut and just eating. That was a really sad part of my life. I won't deny that, but I think so many better things have come out of it for a lot of more people, from a small amount of pain that I have, being a youth worker and also doing all these amazing things in life with photography. And as well, it's beautiful to see that there's so many people like you as well, where I connect with as well, knowing that we had very similar upbringings, one way or another.
I remember when I first met you, you joined Alay Larawan organized by Filipinos of Montreal, and you were telling me that this is like one of the first time that you attended these events with Filipinos, and how this was a great experience to you. And I feel like this is where the Kapwa hood is what I feel. I always like the Kapwa hood and the overall what the Kapwa means to everyone else. And that reverts back to my second question for you would be that what does it mean for you, that the word Kapwa?
It's honestly, I think one of the best ways I can explain it is that it feels like church, but I actually feel welcomed in it. It was one of the first times where I actually feel like the word community was actually verbed into action. That for me showed me what like love is action. So
that is very beautiful, Melvin. Like this is one of I mean, we have similar questions, I mean, answers that we received from our guests, but I think this is one of the first time that I heard Kapwa is also like a church, but the welcoming part. So thank you so much for Melvin. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. And for those who's listening as well, if you would like to have Melvin's service, it's going to be Story by Melvin. Just hit them out on Instagram, Story by Melvin, and I believe you do have a website as well. So thank you so much again. And for those who's listening, you're listening to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. This is Veronica speaking. Mabuhay.
Yourself to me, baby. Already got what I'll ever need. I know deep in me is everything. What if I trust myself endlessly?
If you need me now, I would hold you tight, hold you tight. If you change your mind, don't wait till the moment's right, moment's right. You ain't even touched me in so long. You ain't say you loved me in so long. You don't even try to call my phone. Did you even love me all along? You ain't even touched me in so long. You ain't say you loved me in so long. You don't even try to call my phone. Did you even love me all along?
Already got what I'll ever need. I know deep in me is everything. What if I trust myself endlessly?
Cause if I decide to leave tonight, I'll have no pride, yeah. At least I could try to be by your side with something sunrise. You ain't even touched me in so long. You ain't say you loved me in so long. You don't even try to call my phone. Did you even love me all along? You ain't even touched me in so long. You ain't say you loved me in so long. You don't even try to call my phone. Did you even love me all along?
Already got what I'll ever need. I know deep in me is everything. What if I trust myself endlessly?
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Marvin Reyes. I am a youth leader and community organizer here bringing you the news back home in the Philippines. The article is from CNN Philippines with a title, Inflation Cools Anew, but Recent Typhoons Pose a Risk. The rate of price increases in the Philippines maintained its downtrend for the 6 straight months in July, but a government official said the onslaught of recent typhoons may affect the slowdown. In a briefing on Friday, the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, reported that inflation last month was cooler at 4.7% from the 5.4% recorded in June. July's inflation rate is within the 4.1% to 4.9% forecast range of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas for the month. National statistician Dennis Mapa said the last month's inflation was the lowest since March 2022's 4%. The PSA attributed the deceleration to a slower increase in housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels, food and non-alcoholic beverage, and transport. Food inflation likewise showed a drop from 6.7% in June to 6.3% on the decrease in meats and other parts of slaughtered land animals, fish and seafood, and sugar and confectionery and desserts. Metro Manila's inflation rate was flat at 5.6% last month, while in areas outside the capital eased to 4.4% in July from June's 5.3%. Western Visayas had the highest inflation in July of 5.8%, down from June's 6.9%, according to MAPA. Eastern Visayas, on the other hand, recorded the lowest inflation at 2.4%. We're seeing a reduction in inflation that's a fact since January. Although may mga items na tumataas like rice and vegetables, and baka magkaroon pa yan ng impact ngayong August dahil sa typhoons, MAPA said. Because we were hit by typhoons, my expectations na there's a spike sa presyo ng gulay at bababa naman kapag normal na, he added. The official said they already recorded price increases in cabbage and tomatoes. Several parts of the country, particularly northern Luzon, have suffered damage in agriculture after typhoons Agay and Falcon brought heavy rains that triggered flooding and landslides. MAPA said that the jump in rice inflation in the past months was also witnessed in July, from 3.6% in June to 4.2% last month. Ito ang isa sa mga threats ng pagtaas ng inflation. Hindi na siya ganon kataasan pero pwedeng maging source future inflation natin, he added. The article was written by Lisbeth Ismael and published on August 4, 2023. Thank you so much for listening. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Once again, this is John Marvin Reyes, delivering you Philippine news from abroad.
Thank you, John Marvin Reyes, as always. And hello, everybody. This is Laura, and you're tuned in to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. The first song was called Endlessly by Omar Apollo, and this next song is called Lutang by Jika Marie.
Kung ako lang ang papipiliin, kung ibabalik ba ang kamay ng oras, o lilipad sa Not like these girls on the loose. I'll put up with you, babe. There's some things I won't take. Baby, don't feed me false. Yeah, that turns me off. If I ask, would you say? Wanna be the last girl up in your place? You're making me so high now. You're everything I'd ever want. You're keeping me so dry now. You're everything I never want. Baby, 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 baby. You're tryna get me to do things you want me to do. Don't need to sit down and talk. Already know what you are. Plastic on the floor, but it ain't from me. I'ma go to the place that I'd rather be. You could keep trying to explain to me. There's so many ways you could say to me. You're making me so high now. You're everything I'd ever want. You're keeping me so dry now. You're everything I never want. Baby, 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 I never want it. You're gonna be on my own. What you do is you're making me mad. Baby, don't do that. Baby, you're so dry. Just say it, don't let me down. Don't let me, baby, 'cause I'm really for you. I'm really for you. You should lift me up, baby, 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 'cause I'm really for you, baby. What you gon' do? Just say it, don't let me down. Don't let me, baby, 'cause I'm really for you. I'm really for you. You should lift me up, baby, 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 'cause I'm really for you, baby.
Why you standing on by yourself? Those shoes were made for dancing with someone else. Why don't we move over to that empty space? I'll bet you $20, I'll put a smile on your face. I know a place where we can dance the night away. Baby, we could try to make the world's best slower. We could take our time and get to know each other over cherry wine. Well, it's too soon to give up on tonight. I haven't had the chance to show you my moves tonight. I think you'd like to see why they would call me Mr. Dynamite. I can show you while we dance the night away. But baby, we could try to make the world spin slower. We could take our time and get to know each other over cherry wine. I've been waiting on this dance floor made for two. Baby, won't you show me just what you can do? I don't wanna waste your time, so please just have me for tonight. Dance. cherry wine.
The last song we just played you is called Cherry Wine by Grant Perez, and right before that, it was Baby Powder by Genevieve. Up next, we've got Jason DeCal's Manila and The Two of Us by Omar Apollo.
Maraming beses na kitang nilayasan, iniwanan na tibang pinuntahan. Parang lalaking ang hirap talagang malimutan. Ikaw lamang ang aking laging pinapalikan. Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply no place like Manila. Manila, I'm coming home. You got me way too sentimental, and that is why I am your man. I'm too inclined, you're worth the grind, always be mine, 'cause I am forever yours. As I sit in my room, wondering what I would do if I lost you. And I don't know if my heart could resume, just like the sun and the moon. I'm evidently for you, Manila, I'm all for you. Hinahanap kita, Manila. Ang ingay mo ika'y sarap sa tenga. Mga jeepney mong nagliliparan, mga lalaki mong nagkagandahan. Take me back in your arms, my Manila, and promise me you'll never let go. Promise me you'll never let it go. Manila, I'll do it all to fulfill you. Say what they want, I don't give up. Manila, give me your hand. Ooh, and my heart skip a beat or two as I'm growing into newer revelations in these places where the future
someone I can trust, and I know that you can feel the two of us. Young and in love, got someone I can trust, and I know that you can feel the two of us. Young and in love, got someone I can trust, and I know that you can feel the two of us. Young and in love, got someone I can trust, and I know that you can feel the two of us.
Nahulog sa iyong mga mata, tila ba'y di na makawala. Nais ko lang ay magtanong, maaari bang humingi ng pagkakataon na mahawakan ang iyong mga kamay, at sa awitin na to tayo sasabay. Ikaw lang ang pipiliin, o wala nang iba. Ikaw ang panalangin na makasama hanggang sa pagtanda, at lagi kong uulitin, ipapalala sa'yo. Ikaw ang panalangin, ikaw ang panalangin. Pangakong ika'y aalagaan, ibibigay lahat, pati ang buwan. At sa ilalim nitong mga bituin ay aaminin na ang tunay na pagtingin, at hawakan ang iyong mga kamay, at sa awitin na to tayo'y sasabay. Ikaw lang ang pipiliin, o wala nang iba. Ikaw ang panalangin na makasama hanggang sa pagtanda, at lagi kong uulitin, ipapalala sa'yo. Ikaw ang panalangin, ikaw ang panalangin. panalangin na makasama hanggang sa pagtanda. At lagi kong uulitin, ipapalala sa'yo, ikaw ang panalangin, ikaw ang panalangin. No, wala nang iba, ang panalangin ko, makasama hanggang sa pagtanda. At lagi kong uulitin, ipapalala sa'yo, ikaw ang panalangin, ikaw ang panalangin. Ikaw agad ang bungad ng magandang umaga. Hindi kumpleto ang araw pag di kita kasama. Okay lang, nandito lang ako na laging nakaabang, kahit na magdamago. Eh ano naman kung ilang oras ang masayang, di naman ako manghihinayang. Handa kong magbabad, makasama ka lang. Ayos lang kahit gabihin pa ako kakatingin, dahil di ka nakakasawang tingnan. Basta ng iyong mga mata, wow, wow, wow. Susundan, susundan, saan mo magpunta, wow, wow. Basta't ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi, oh lagi, lagi ngumiti ka lang sa'kin, akin, akin. Palagi ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi, oh lagi ngumiti ka lang palagi, yeah. Alam mo ba mula nung dumating ka, bumalik yun na wala akong sigla. Ikaw ang naglagay ng tamis, sinalis ang pait sa masama kong timpla. Sa buong buhay ko, ngayon ko lang naranasan ng saya ng mundo, kasi dahil sa'yo. Okay lang anak kung ilang oras ang masayang, di naman ako manghihinayang. Handa kong magbabad, makasama ka lang. Ayos lang kahit gabihin pa ako kakatingin, dahil di ka nakakasawang tingnan. Basta ng iyong mga mata, wow, wow, wow. Susundan, susundan, saan mo magpunta, wow, wow. Basta't ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi, oh lagi, lagi ngumiti ka lang sa'kin, akin, akin. Palagi ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi, oh lagi ngumiti ka lang palagi, yeah. Na na na, na na na, yeah, 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 yeah. Ngumiti lang palagi, ngumiti lang, oh.
You're back with Laura on CKUT 90.3 FM on Radyo Kapwa. The last two songs you heard are called Dalangin by Earl Agustin and Skustakli's Lagi. Before I get into the last song, I just want to take a second to thank Melvin for not only coming on the air to talk about his experience, but also being such a good friend to me in my tween years in born again Christian church. I sought church because I saw people who looked like me, who I felt like I wanted to fit in with so bad, but I didn't feel like I fit in with. And Melvin was the only person I felt like I didn't have to try to be anything around. And I wouldn't give anything to change the relationship that we built from that, being two English-speaking Filipinos at Born Again Christian Church in Montreal. So thank you, Melvin, for your friendship and memories that I'll never forget. This last song is called Mona Lisa by Dominic Fike. And I'd like to add that the playlist this week was made up of some of Melvin's current favorite songs and some songs I personally thought that he'd be into that are Filipinx. So with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Radyo Kapwa will be back with community announcements with Justin in a jiff. Mabuhay!
Mona Lisa, hey. Mona Lisa. Love is when you try to place it out your mind, but you can't turn the radio down, and you can't think of anyone else. And love is when you try to make it out alive, but you can't turn the radio down, and you can't think of anyone else. Look, I can see your face in the Parisian paintings, the Mona Lisa. I can hear your voice in the streets and the TV stations and the police. I can feel the strains on my wrist. I don't need these bracelets of all the things that she keeps in cages. I'm Elise's favorite. And she said I was about to give you all of me on all the weekends, and all I wanted was apologies and all of your bed. Over my heels, falling on my head, but all of my feels were already dead. And if I could rewind it for you, if you could remind me of what I felt before I felt for your idea of love. Love is when you try to place it out your mind, but you can't turn the radio down, and you can't think of anyone else. And love is when you try to make it out alive, but you can't turn the radio down, and you can't think of anyone else. Mona Lisa, yeah, Mona Lisa, hey, Mona Lisa, yeah, yeah, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, yeah. I know you like your space and distance, yeah. You don't take admissions. They told you not to date musicians, yeah, but can't make you listen. Stick to the ones who let you make all the decisions and look the other way. And you already know what your mother say, and you already know I'm a number away. I was about to give you all of me on all the weekends, and all I wanted was apologies and all of your bed. Over my heels, falling on my head, but all of my feels were already dead. And if I could rewind it for you, if you could remind me of what I felt before I felt for your idea of love, yeah. Love is when you try to place it out your mind, but you can't turn the radio down, and you can't think of anyone else. And love is when you try to make it out alive, but you can't turn the radio down, and you can't think of anyone else. Mona Lisa, yeah, Mona Lisa, hey, Mona Lisa, yeah, yeah, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, yeah.
You are back with Justin on Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM, and welcome to this week's community announcements. Happy Pride Month, Totiake, Montreal. Mark your calendars. Centre Green, an independent, non-for-profit community organization located on Totiake, Montreal, is offering a free 7-session acting and performance creation workshop series for newcomers, refugees, and BIPOC artists starting from August 29 until October 10th on Tuesdays from 5:30 to 8 p.m. It will take place at 1090 Avenue Green in Westmount. If you're interested, check out their Instagram page at Centre Green. The BCRC is changing lives by empowering families one generation at a time. Coming this September, the Black Community Resource Center is thrilled to introduce the Adopt a Grandma program, connecting Black seniors with newcomers in Quebec. This program offers a unique opportunity for BIPOC newcomers to gain valuable insights and guidance from the wisdom of our elders. If you are Black senior, know of one, or are interested in becoming a mentee/mentor, check out their Instagram page at BCRC Montreal to register. That is BCRC MTL for registration. Calling all BIPOC youth visual artists. Y4Y welcomes you to submit your work. Interested in having your work showcased? Y4Y, a nonprofit organization, inclusive association representing Quebec's English-speaking youth, is hosting a pop-up art exhibition, Creating Kinship, where we aim to shine light on elements of community. They will be selecting 10 artists whose work exhibit their backgrounds, a sense of community, or elements of what they perceive as home. Paintings, collages, prints, and photography are welcomed. Deadline for submission is August 23rd at 11:59 p.m. For more information, visit their Instagram page at Y4Y Quebec. Today, August 9th at Parc Jean-Briand, go watch Cora Flamenca's live performance starting at 7 p.m. Thursday, August 10th, join L'Astérisque, an organization of safer space for the services and activities of 2SLGBTQI+ youth, hosting an open house to learn about the organizations that operate in L'Astérisque, the history of the space, and to celebrate our 10-year anniversary at 1575 Attican from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. For more info, check out their Instagram page at _L'Astérisque. This upcoming Friday, August 11th, Black Mental Health Connections Montreal, an alliance focused on the mental health and well-being of the English-speaking Black community, in collaboration with Pride Montreal, organizing a safer BIPOC barbecue cook from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. For more info, please visit their Instagram page at BMHCMTL. This Sunday, August 13th, join Pan Asian Collective for a Sunday cruise starting at 11 a.m. at the Footbridge at Marché Atwater on the other side. This event is all about celebrating movement, being outside together, and enjoying one of the best ways to get around the city, biking. The pace and energy will be relaxed and fun, with room for flexibility if folks want to adjust the distance or route. For more information, visit their Instagram page at PAC Montreal. Next week, August 16th, join Pan Asian Collective's last Asian book group session of the summer, discussing A Hero of Our Time by Nabin Ruthnam and delving into all the chaos that is workplace diversity politics under late-stage capitalism at Parc Jeanne Mance from 6:30 to 8:30. Check out their Instagram page for more info at PAC Montreal. Thank you very much. That was Community Announcements with Justin. You're listening to Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM.
Good afternoon. This is Melvin-John Herbilla from Story by Melvin. You are listening to Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Liberation for one is liberation for us all. Tuloy ang laban.